What's up? What's up? Tonight we're going to be talking about a very controversial topic. One that I always laugh about, but I realize how real, controversial this is and how wound up people got about it. Tonight we're going to be talking about to buy a timeshare or don't buy a timeshare. And, having been in the travel industry for so many years, this is a question I get asked quite a bit. And hold on, while I'm doing this, as you guys are tuning in, let me know where you're watching from. And then I'm going to cut and paste this little thing so when you comment, I can actually see who you are. Because if you don't do this, I never see you. And then what ends up happening is I just get this blank face for comments. There it is. All right, let me post this in here. Into the comments you go, and then we'll be ready. So it's always funny to me because people are always asking me, should I buy a timeshare? Should I get out of my timeshare? Should I, buy my buddy's timeshare week, right? All these kind of things. And here's what I know about timeshares. You either love them or you hate them. I have never met anybody who is like, yeah, it's okay. Or it's not really that bad. I've never met anybody who is in the middle. It was, I hate my timeshare. I wish I'd never bought that damn thing. Or it's, I love my timeshare. It's the best thing ever that I have purchased. Okay. And so what I did was when looking at timeshares and looking at the questions that I get about timeshares, I'm not going to get into the individual brand, like, for example, Hilton versus RCI or any of those kind of things, because each one of them has their own particular flavor of the way that they're doing things. And that doesn't necessarily mean that you're getting a good deal or a bad deal. It just means it is what it is. So what I want to do is I'm going to just break down the difference, or not the difference, sorry, the advantages and the disadvantages, and then just try to give you enough information so that you can make an educated decision on whether a timeshare is something for you to purchase or not. So let's talk about advantages. And then at the end of this, I'm going to kind of share a little known fact to you. Okay. What are the advantages? Condos are great locations, right? These timeshare condos are typically really nice condos, not always. Okay. I've seen a few that I was like, holy cow, can't believe somebody pays for that. And they're usually at really great locations and they have pretty good prices. I have a friend who he and I are working out a deal. I'm actually going to try to take over his timeshare for him. His timeshare locations are really amazing. I think it's $180 for the week for 2-bedroom condo. That's a really good deal, right? And it's never the location, right? With condos in these timeshare co-ops, you could pick like Japan, you could pick, Italy or France, which I know right now with COVID isn't really an issue. But typically, each of the the timeshare companies have an assortment of other places that you can actually book the timeshare at, right? So if you travel a lot, here's another advantage. If you travel a lot and you have a timeshare, they generally speaking have very good partnerships with other hotels, other condos, other locations. So even if, the week that you bought is not available, they usually have discounts and good partnerships that would pretty much take care of you. I actually know one family that owns, I want to say they own 3 different condo or timeshares. So, again, it kind of goes to that. You either love it or you hate it. Here's something that I look at as an advantage. Not everybody does, but oftentimes when I'm talking to people about timeshares, I get this sense that they feel they're all like used car salesmen, right? I get the sense that it's like the shady backdoor kind of deal. And timeshares, because they're so hard to get out of, that, they get that kind of reputation. But, all of the great hotel chains in America that you love, Hilton, Marriott, all those bigger organizations all have vacation clubs, timeshares, or what does Marriott call theirs? I forget what they call theirs. Hilton has their Hilton Vacation Club, and it's their timeshare program. Okay. So they all have their own timeshare programs. And what I found with Hilton was that Hilton allowed you to use your timeshare points on regular hotel stays. So for John Rankin personally, I would view that as an advantage. Maybe I can't use the week that I wanted at the timeshare property, but I could get a regular hotel with the same points. Okay. Now, there are some serious disadvantages, and you need to know this when you go in and you're potentially looking at purchasing a timeshare. Number one, you have limited stays. It's not like you can go every other week. Okay. You can buy extra weeks at a discounted rate, which is still a pretty good rate, but I think more normally you're given like 2 to 3 weeks. At least with Hilton, you are also given points that you can use to purchase back or to use on other hotel stays. That's a lot of moving parts for a $20,000 buy-in and a $1,200-ish kind of taxes and fees every year. I mean, that's what we're saying. You're going to give me $20,000 over the span of the contract, plus whatever the interest is probably, and you're going to pay me $1,200 a year in maintenance fees. Now, the $1,200 a year really isn't that bad. It's the $20,000 or the $30,000 or the $40,000 buy-in that can be substantial, right? And it all depends on which program you get into and all that kind of good stuff. They are absolute hell to get out of. You know that they're really bad to get out of when you're driving down the highway in a non-timeshare area and you hear that lawyer commercial. Have you ever been taken advantage of by a timeshare? Call 1-888-TIMESHARE, get out of jail free card, whatever. You know that it's bad when you've got to start calling attorneys to get you out of this stuff. Now, I'm going to tell you how else I know it's hell. Like I said, I have a buddy, we're trying to figure out how to transfer that deed to me. And I called several different real estate agents, and they said you actually have to be a timeshare real estate agent to really handle that kind of contractual exchange. I mean, what kind of craziness is this? So you got to be a timeshare real estate agent. And then there's the question of, he lives in one state, his timeshare's in Florida, I live in Tennessee. So where's the governing rules for that? Okay. You need to understand that if you make this purchase, it takes quite a bit of legwork to make it happen. If you want to get out of it, it's even worse. Okay. Here's the fourth disadvantage. The fourth disadvantage in my mind is, will you travel enough for it to be worth it? I don't know necessarily you personally, right? Unless you've reached out to me and you've discussed your travel plans with me, I have no clue if you take 6 weeks a year, 1 week a year, or no weeks a year. I mean, I don't know. So you have to ask yourself the question, will you be traveling enough that investment becomes worth it? And the truth is that the average American travels less than 4 times a year. Of that, a week to a week and a half is usually vacation. Is that worth it? Is the 20 grand over the life of the contract worth a week and a half, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a year? I don't know. You have to answer that question for yourself. Because I would travel enough to use it. I do travel enough to use it. Whether you do or not is another question. And I've heard people say this, and it never really works out that way. Well, if I had a timeshare, I'd probably travel more. The truth is that you won't. If you're not already traveling at such a level to where it's worth it now, the chances are it's not going to be worth it later. Okay, just being frank with you. And again, you've got to go through this. You either love it or you hate it type of thing, because that's where it seems like everybody falls. Again, I've never met somebody that was kind of ambivalent to it. Yeah. It is what it is. I spent the money and I don't care one way or another. I've never met anybody like that. It's either that's the worst decision of my life or it's the best decision of my life. Now, here's a little known fact for you. There are actually timeshare properties across the world that you can book at timeshare rates or slightly above timeshare rates, and even get the really upgraded high-speed, jacuzzis and, conference rooms and all those kind of upper-end amenities, and you can do it without spending the 20 grand. If you would like to know how you can purchase weeks at a time in a timeshare property with all the same benefits, all the same amenities, everything, I want you to go in and find that little hotel emoji, or just type in send me info. But I like the emojis, okay? I'm trying to get better with my emojis. So play the game with me. Try to find the hotel emoji. Drop it in the comments so I know to reach out to you. And I'll show you how you can actually rent a timeshare property without the pitch, without all the headache, at the price that's roughly the same as what the owner is going to pay, minus the $20,000, $30,000, $40,000. So if that's something of interest to you, I just want you to say, send me the info or drop the hotel emoji and I'll reach out to you. And then tomorrow night, we're going to be talking about some more exciting stuff with travel. Obviously, with the coronavirus, most of the stuff I'm going to be talking about over the next couple of weeks is going to be domestic, not international, because we're not really outside of Mexico, the Bahamas, and a few other small places in the Caribbean. We're not really allowed to go international yet, but fingers crossed, that's going to be changing here soon. Love you. We'll see you tomorrow.